that's on us. That's how we get ourselves in trouble. Every Yahweh, I told about this the other day, how Yahweh gets the blame off himself. He always instructs Israel. He always gives a command. Do this, don't do that. If you deviate from what I say, then guess what? Trouble is going to come the way. So, Father Adam, he transgressed, and then death seeped in. And then it's a domino effect to this very day, where we all have to die. These vessels, they're dying right now, but we're dying because of sin, Israel. So, like I said, but he's going to restore everything the way it was back in that garden. I want to go to the book of Micah. Micah chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, in that day declares Yahweh, I will gather the lame. I will assemble the exiles, and those I have brought to grief. I will make the lame a remnant, those driven away a strong nation. It says, Yahweh will rule over them in Mount Zion from that day and forever. So, as for you, O watchtower of the flock, O stronghold of the daughter of Zion, the former dominion will be restored to you. See that? He gave man dominion. Radah. Right now, we don't have that. It's the opposite. Everyone tries to walk all over Israel. We don't have that dominion that we're supposed to have. But guess what? Yahweh said he is going to restore that dominion. It says kingship will come to the daughter of Jerusalem. It says, why do you now cry aloud? Have you no king? Has your counselor perished? That pain seizes you like that of a woman in labor? Ride in agony, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in labor. For now you must leave the city to camp in the open field. You will go to Babylon. There you will be rescued. See that we got a day he's going to come and rescue us all from all the things that we're suffering this lifetime. There Yahweh will redeem you out of the hand of your enemies. See, someone coming, Israel. He's coming for you. He's going to bring you out of this nations that they seek to destroy you. They all they do is seek to destroy everything that Yahweh has made. You can see it in the earth. They destroy the earth. They don't give Yahweh the credit that he deserves. They want to destroy stuff and remake things so you can look upon them, so they can get praise, thinking that they've done all these things. But no, Yahweh has done all these things. But Yahweh's sitting back and watching. Just because it's going along right now, don't think Yahweh is not there seeing. Yahweh's taking note. There's a day he's going to destroy these people off the face of the earth because they destroyed the earth. So it says, but now many nations are gathered against you. They say, let her be defiled. Let our eyes gloat over Zion. See, they don't want you to get right, Israel. They don't want you to clean yourselves up, Israel, because they know that if you clean yourselves up and you start serving Almighty Yahweh, then you have power. And they don't want you to have any power. That's why they, night and day, they seek to destroy you. They seek to kill you, to put fear in your hearts. But guess what? If you know Yahweh is with you, there's no fear. That's right. Say it. No fear at all. Because Yahweh, like I said, even if we had to lose our life in this lifetime, if you do it in his name's sake, you will find it again. So, Israel, like I said, don't fear Israel. He's right there. He's going to save us. He says he's going to redeem you. It says, but they do not know the thoughts of Yahweh. They do not understand his plan. He who gathers them like sheaves to the threshing floor. They see they don't understand. They going off their own knowledge, their own wisdom, if you want to call it wisdom. But you have no wisdom without Almighty Yahweh. See, all the things that they do are foolish. It says, rise and thresh, O daughter of Zion. For I will give you horns of iron, I will give you hooves of bronze, and you will break to pieces many nations. And you will devote their ill-gotten gains to Yahweh, their wealth to Yahweh of all the earth. All that wealth and stuff that they have gotten deceitfully, they have stole from you. Just like I said, they're going to have to give it up. Those things are going to go to Almighty Yahweh. And Yahweh is going to give it unto Israel because you well deserved it for striving in this lifetime.
Just as the brother said, that Yahweh's going to be there and he's going to distribute all of that wealth for the wicked. There's so much joy that we could take in knowing the things that Yahweh's going to do for his people during this time of tabernacling and what this time of tabernacling points to, as well as the deliverance that Yahweh's going to bring for Israel. And as we said last evening, how meticulous Yahweh is and how Yahweh is the world's greatest perfectionist. How Yahweh leaves no stone unturned, no base uncovered, every aspect of living that a person could imagine, as well as that which a person couldn't even imagine. Yahweh has it covered. And in Yahweh's kingdom, there's going to be something there for everybody. As they categorize you, what's the term, demographically, based upon your age groups and things of that nature. Yahweh is covering everybody in his kingdom. As we go and see here in this 8th chapter of the book of Zechariah, Yahweh says here in Zechariah 8:3, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh, I'm returned unto Zion, and I will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth." See, the deceitful are there now. The wicked abide there now. There's a bunch of liars there now, pretending and passing themselves off to be you and I before the world. A bunch of liars there now. But it's going to be called the city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of Sabaoth, or Yahweh of Sabaoth, Yahweh of hosts, the Kodesh mountain. And thus saith Yahweh of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. Not that they're going to be left homeless and sleeping out in the streets, but no, they'll be able to camp. They'll be able to keep the Feast of Sukkot. They'll be able to dwell in booths, in peace. And 83-year-old mothers will not have to worry about 13 or 14-year-olds running into their Sukkot to beat them, to murder them, and to rape them. So they'll be able to, in that day, dwell in Jerusalem in peace. Hallelujah. And the old men, it says that every man with his staff in his hand for very age, they'll be able to traverse and travel all throughout the city in peace. They won't have to worry about being robbed or mugged or knocked over the head or drug into an alley or beat or shot to death or anything from somebody who's a fraction of their age. No, such a thing won't be. And it goes on even further to show you how even and how fair Yahweh is. It goes on further. He just covered the bases of the elderly, the old men and women. He says further, in the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls, not selling dope, not stealing cars in the midst thereof, not skipping school. No, it says, in the streets of the city shall be full of girls and boys playing in the midst thereof. See, in that day and time, children will be able to enjoy their childhood. That day, children will be able to play in the streets of Jerusalem and not have to worry about whether or not the man that they just walked past is a registered sex offender or not. They won't have to worry about whether or not the man who they just rode past or were just playing in front of is a part of a child sex ring or part of a trafficking ring looking for his next victim to abduct. You won't have to worry about those types of things in that day when Israel is tabernacled and regathered and taken home and Yahweh's government is established in this earth. The children will be able to play in the midst of the streets of Jerusalem and won't have to duck for sake of a bullet, a stray shell hitting them, or some shrapnel from a bomb, or some type of improvised explosive device going off. They won't have to worry about those types of things. They won't have to duck and flee from bombs being dropped aerially upon them. No, they'll be able to play and actually enjoy their childhood.
Hallelujah.
See how Yahweh distributes his mercy. 2 verses. Yahweh covered both spectrums of life. Yahweh provided for the old as well as the young. And you'd be a fool to think that Yahweh just gonna cover those two ends of the strata and leave everybody else in between uncovered. No way. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people, in these days shall it be marvelous in mine eyes. So if you count it as marvelous, that the old mothers and fathers of Israel will be able to traverse in the streets and travel in peace, if it's marvelous in your eyes that those babies like Malachi and Eliana and Andre and Naomi and Jeremiah will be able to play in the streets, as well as any children that they have after them in that day to come, you find it marvelous that those babies will be able to play in peace in the kingdom to come. Yahweh says it will be marvelous in his eyes as well. In these days shall it be marvelous in mine eyes, saith Yahweh of hosts. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I'll bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. They shall dwell in Yahweh's city of peace, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim, in truth and in righteousness. This is what the Feast of Tabernacles points to. As Brother Reginald kept highlighting last evening as well as today, this is a practice run. This is a dry run of what you're going to do in the future. Each year that you keep these feasts annually, it serves as practice. Not because Yahweh's bored, or because Yahweh is some type of sadist, or because Yahweh is some type of megalomaniac who just wants you to do whatever he says out of a desire to be obsessively controlling. No, these annual feasts, they serve as practice to strengthen you and to perfect you, so that in the day and time whereby Yahweh reestablishes his kingdom in this earth, when he humbles the nations and he breaks the staff of their power and beats them down, and they come to you, you fully prepared, you fully equipped to teach, to guide, to correct, to exhort, as well as to instruct. But nobody wants to sit and learn under a teacher that's unskilled at what they're doing. Imagine going to school to learn how to drive, but yet your driving instructor can't tell you to brake from the gas. They can't tell you the difference, but they're going to teach you, come on, yeah, get in here, yeah, just go ahead on there, hit the one on the right to stop it. And you sit back, you hit the one on the right like the man said, but yet you steadily going toward the Jersey wall, or you going forward at a higher rate of speed, and you wondering why the car has not stopped. But then they tell you, yeah, you hit the one on the left to make it go faster. Nobody will want to sit and learn under those types of conditions, and it's the same way with the world. When Yahweh beats down all of the wicked that rule this world right now, and he shows them what righteous ruling is, no way in hell Almighty Yahweh will have people in positions of authority, and they not know how to exercise the authority that they're supposed to be in, and they not know how to govern from the positions of authority that they've been established to reign in. Right. This is what these feasts serve. You learn every Shabbat, every feast day, you learn it, you master it the same way in which, now, interesting how when it comes time to practice or repetition, when it comes to the repetition of Yahweh's feast, we hate that. Oh, that tabernacle already. But right then we just keep this, 6 months ago? Whole time, people sit back, you get upset, you get irate, and you have to constantly do a thing when it comes to Yahweh. Because that's what Yahweh requires for perfection. Constant repetition, constantly going over again. Now to show how warped we can be sometimes, then we hate the constant repetition that comes along with keeping Yahweh's word. But yet we'll go off, we'll join the army, we'll join the Navy, we'll join the Marines, we'll join everything. And every day it's the same routine. You get up at the same time of day, you eat at the same time of day, you got the same exercise regimen, you sit back, you see the same faces every day, you break down and you dismantle those same weapons over and over and over. Why? So that when you hit that battlefield, you're fully proficient to perform as the fighting and killing machine that the United States government wants you to operate as. You'll sit back, you'll pursue a degree, you'll go to these academic institutions of learning, and you'll sit back, you'll show up at the same time every day. You'll sit back with the same classmates, you may say inmates, but at the same time, still confined involuntarily against your will. People, in fact, people would even go to jail repetitiously, over and over again, from childhood into adulthood, and go back and forth to the same jail with some of the same knuckleheads. They'll commit the same offenses over and over and over and over again, and take great pride and great joy in it. People go to these academic institutions and sit and have the same nonsense ingrained in their heads for a degree, only to come out and find that $50, $60, $70,000 in debt that they've accumulated for a small piece of paper is null and void now, because the field that they want to get in and elbow their way into boxed them out. No employment for them whatsoever. So now you gotta go, you cashier at Home Depot, or you agree at Walmart, now to pay for the debt. But that constant repetition, people have no problem with it when it's coming from the world. When it's pertaining to the things of Hashatan, people go through constant repetition over and over and over. When it comes to the annual feast of Yahweh, in comes the frustration. Oh man, we gotta keep soup out of it. Man, I just bought this stuff. What do you mean we gotta throw this stuff out? Didn't we just have Passover last year? That's the mindset many people will have. But yet it's that constant repetition of obedience and learning Yahweh's Torah that points us to the kingdom to come. It's the constant repetition that we have to learn of Yahweh's word in order to be the proficient rulers and governors of this earth in righteousness that Yahweh requires us to be. Otherwise, we can't do it. Yet the world, they have no problem with the constant repetition of everything else outside of Yahweh. Yahweh says here in his word, it's that obedience, that continual obedience that's going to save our soul. Now, we be wise to adapt to the constant repetition of the keeping of Yahweh's feast days and the continual repetition of Almighty Yahweh's commandments in order to save our souls, so as to be able to govern this earth in the way in which Yahweh wants this earth to be governed. Otherwise, be replaced by someone else who's not even of the covenant, who may be striving a little more valiant than you are.
Yeah.
I want to go off of what he said, where you're going to have people in Israel that's going to govern, that's going to do things the way Yahweh wants it. Unlike this world, everything is unjust, nothing is fed off. Even in Deuteronomy, it talks about your judges. It says in Deuteronomy 16, verse 18, it says, appoint judges and officials for each of your tribes in every town Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. And they shall judge the people fairly, not unjustly, not unfairly. Everything is going to be done fairly. Do not pervert justice or show partiality. Don't. Okay, you know, I know him, so I know he wrong, but you know, I'm gonna give him a pass. I'm gonna let him go for his crime. No, it has to be right as well. So do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. Like I said, you're not going to be able to bribe Yahweh. A lot of people think they have all this money now, and when that day comes, they're going to go up to Yahweh and say, I got $1 billion in a bank. Can I give you that so I can get in the kingdom? No. Like I said, Yahweh made all this stuff, so what does he need with $1 billion? But like I said, we had to do everything in decent and in order. Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land Yahweh your God is giving you. Yeah, don't give in to injustice, give in to things that you know is not of Yahweh. We do that a lot. We have friends, family, we give in. We know they wrong. We know in the back of my mind they wrong. But, you know, that's family, that's my friends. You know, I gotta go with them. No, if it's against what Yahweh says, you can't do it. Plain and simple. He gives you the rules. So like I said, it's gonna be judging fairly in that kingdom. Everything is gonna be done righteous. And then also, like he said, also with people gonna have to be humble. People that in this lifetime they're over you, they don't care about you, they trample you, do whatever. They're going to have to be humble. They're going to have to follow you because you have the word. You are of Yahweh. I want to go to Zechariah, where it talks about how they're going to have to come to you. They're going to see it on you and follow you willingly. This is Zechariah, same chapter he was in. Zechariah 8. I'm going to start at verse 20. This is what Yahweh Almighty says. Many people and inhabitants of many cities will yet come, and the inhabitants of one city will go to another and say, let us go at once to entreat Yahweh and seek Yahweh Almighty. Not the God, not Lord, God, Jesus, Yahweh.
Yes.
He is going to be the only one. All the other gods of the nations not going to exist anymore. Those things are going to be out of the minds of the people. It says, and many people and powerful nations will come to Jerusalem to seek Yahweh Almighty and to entreat him. This is what Yahweh Almighty says. Israel, this is what you should look forward to. This is why you are doing this right now, keeping his Torah. It says, in those days, 10 men from all languages and nations will take firm hold of one Yahudim by the hem of his robe and say, let us go with you, because we have heard that Yahweh is with you. See that? See that, Israel? One person, 10 people are going to come to one and say, oh, I heard Yahweh is with you. Let us go with you. That's humbling. That's responsibility also. That's why I said we had to get it right in this lifetime. We can't wait to the last minute. We can't say, I'll get it right in the kingdom. It doesn't work like that. That's why we're doing this now. Like you said, you are preparing yourself to teach the nation. Preparing yourself for something great that Yahweh has waiting for you. Not doing this any kind of way. You're not just taking up time. No, this is for Almighty Yahweh. And that Yahweh, that right there is a responsibility, but right there you can see Yahweh trust you. You are his people, so he's going to give you that responsibility. He ain't going to give it to anybody. He's going to give it to those, like he said, that are going to teach them right. They ain't want to learn it in this lifetime. They don't care in this lifetime. But like I said, they're going to be in that kingdom, they're going to have to learn it.
Just as the brother laid out how the nations, the rich, powerful, the mighty, they're going to come to you and they're going to take hold of the hem of the garment of those that are Yahudim. It behooves us now to get it all together. It behooves us now to work out, as they would say, all of the kinks as far as our obedience unto Almighty Yahweh. So that's a lot of responsibility. Those people, Scripture says at the mouth of Yahshua HaMashiach that a person shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of Yahweh, such, except he would come as a little child. So in turn, the same way in which little children, they look up to the adults that's in their immediate proximity, they humble themselves, they want to learn, they're so curious about everything, they got question upon question upon question for you, and as adults, they looking to you to have the answer. The nations that come a hold of you and grab a hold of your garments and seeking to gain access into Yahweh's kingdom, they're going to be in that same fashion. When they come to do what Jeremiah 16:19 says they'll do, but they have to acknowledge that the things in which they heard it from their forefathers was lies, and they come to learn of Almighty Yahweh's truth, they're going to have question upon question upon question upon question upon question for you. And you, Israel, had better have the answer. Better have the answer. And in the midst of all of that, there's some things Almighty Yahweh is going to do for us as well. Before the nations even come unto us, Almighty Yahweh is going to restore unto us some things that at one point in time were stripped of us. There's some things that were taken from us, knowledge of various things that we were deprived of as a result of our disobedience to Almighty Yahweh. But those things are going to be restored unto us before the nations come and humble themselves before us. Yahweh says here in the book of Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 16, says here, therefore, all they that devoured you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil you shall be a spoil, and all they that prey upon you will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto you, and I will heal you of your wounds, saith Yahweh. So all of these different ailments that befall us in the body right now, all of these different things, all of these different maladies that afflict us and trouble us and make life a little more difficult for us, Yahweh's gonna remove all of those things from us. Can you imagine a day and a time frame whereby there'll be no hypertension medication? You won't have to run to Walgreens to get high blood pressure medicine. You won't have to run to CVS or Rite Aid to get a prescription of Zoloft or anything of that nature as far as to cure depression or the inability to sleep. You won't be able to go and get anything as far as hypertension or hyperactivity disorder, all these different ailments in the mind, different things that trouble us in the body as well. Yahweh's going to remove all of those things from us that trouble us, and he's going to restore unto us health. As the book of Proverbs said, that Yahweh's word will be health unto our navel and marrow unto our bones. And it's going to go far beyond what the biggest manufacturers of the world can come up with. GlaxoSmithKline and all of these different organizations that oversee the distribution of drugs and medication. Yahweh's word will trump all of those things. It says he will restore unto us health, and he'll heal us of our wounds, whether they be emotional, spiritual, physical, psychological, whatever the case may be. It says that he will heal us. And because they called you an outcast, saying, "This is Zion, whom no man seeks after," you tell people today you're the chosen people, you're Hebrew, it's like they look at you like, "What, you?" Get out of here. Everybody's so fixated on liars. Everybody's so fixated on those that are masquerading globally to be you. That when you say that you are Israel, they look at you funny. Ain't right. Ain't nobody looking for salvation. That man, what the way y'all all on BET cutting up, the way y'all on the nightly news, ain't nobody looking for salvation from y'all. But because they've said that, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I'll bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents. So all of the captivity and the oppression that we're suffering under now, just as Yahweh brought it upon us, says he'll bring it again. And he'll bring it from off of us. He says, and I have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving. Not that nonsense that they're getting ready to do next month in November with the turkey and the ham and the relatives that can't stand each other, just gathering over at grandma's house to eat gluttonously. No, not that Thanksgiving, but Todah of Yahweh for the deliverance and the redemption that he promised us. And the voice of them that make merry. Not like them thing they do in December with that old falsified sense of happiness that's centered around consumerism, but no, the voice of them that make merry. Those that are singing songs of joy and gladness and a holler for Almighty Yahweh. He says also, I'll multiply them. You ain't going to be able to reduce their population. You ain't going to give them Norplant, Depo-Provera, or any other things that stifle their birth control in that day and time. Yahweh says, I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. So you want to follow the crowd? You like to be a part of the large multitude? There's a large multitude in that day that you can fight to be numbered among the righteous. And their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. People right here in Maryland, you ain't got a governor to proceed from your midst. You ain't got a governor to help you. Larry Hogan ain't sharing no biological connection to anybody in this room, or most of the people in this state. But Yahweh says that Israel's nobles shall be of themselves. Someone will give birth to your king. Someone will have a genetic tie to your ruler. Your redeemer, as the scripture says, your redeemer must be a near kinsman. You look like looking for salvation from somebody that looks like Liam Neeson, the man from Taken, or Willem Dafoe. Who we look like looking for somebody coming here in this hotel right now looking like Ashton Kutcher? Who in the world we look like looking for salvation from somebody that look like Governor Martin O'Malley, Bob Earl, or Larry Hogan? No, your nobles shall be of themselves. And their governors Yahweh says further, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. But he who it is that is engaged in his heart to approach unto me, saith Yahweh, and you shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. And behold, the whirlwind of Yahweh goeth forth with fury, the continuing whirlwind, and it shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he has done it, and until he has performed the intents of his heart. And in the latter day you shall consider.
Hallelujah.
This is the redemptive time in the earth that Yahweh's feast day. No. And then Yahweh also says that he's going to fight on their behalf. So they think they playing with the weather right now. They think they playing with modification of the winds and the rain and the storms of this earth. Wait until Yahweh unleashes that whirlwind of his fear and pours it out upon the heads of the wicked. Right now they raining upon us. Right now they got their rain that usually wouldn't fall upon this region in such abundance as it's doing right now. But there's a day coming whereby all of the geostorming and the weather modification in the world, you ain't gonna stifle that whirlwind of Yahweh's fear when it's poured out. This is what we have to look forward to. And in these Feast of Tabernacles, where Almighty Yahweh stands up and fights on the behalf of Israel to establish his kingdom in this earth and to establish you as his governors and his rulers in this earth. You can't say hallelujah to that.
Hallelujah.
To that.
Israel, this is your wisdom and understanding right here. He said, keep this, observe this, for this is your wisdom and understanding. He said, keep this, observe this, for this is your wisdom and understanding upon the nation. The nations will see, and they will say, truly, this is a wise and understanding people. That's what we have to strive for. That's what we have to look for in this lifetime. Not the riches of the world, not to seek what's in this world as far as materialism and all. We have to seek wisdom and understanding. And
Scripture even tell you that Yahshua, Hamashiach's mouth says, seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh. And all these things will be added unto you. So this is the brother talked about not seeking after the riches and the things of the Gentiles. Seek Yahweh's kingdom first. And all of that will be added to you later on. Compounded interest.
exactly. I want to go to the book of Job, because Yahweh says what wisdom and understanding is. These people, the nations, they don't know what wisdom is. They go off of their own mind. And like I said, and that's foolishness. But in Job chapter 28, he talks about the wisdom and understanding. Job 28:12, I'm going to start. It says, but where can wisdom be found? Where does understanding dwell? Man does not comprehend its worth. It cannot be found in the land of the living. The deep says, it is not in me. The sea says, it is not with me. It cannot be bought with the finest gold, nor can its price be weighed in silver. Like I said, these nations that have all that money, but the most precious thing, that wisdom, they can't buy that. This says it cannot be bought with the gold or Ophir, the precious onyx or sapphires. Neither gold nor crystal can compare with it, nor can it be had for jewels of gold. Coral and jasper are not worthy of mention. The price of wisdom is beyond rubies. So he's going beyond all the material things of this earth. No, it's way more worth than that. The topaz of Cush cannot compare with it. It cannot be bought with pure gold. Where then does wisdom come from? Where does understanding dwell? It says it is hidden from the eyes of every living thing, concealed even from the birds of the air. Destruction and death say, only a rumor of it has reached our ears. Yahweh understands the way to it, and he alone knows where it dwells. For he views the earth and sees everything under the heavens. When he established the force of the wind and measured out the waters, when he made a decree for the rain and a path for the thunderstorms, then he looked at wisdom and appraised it. He confirmed it and tested it. This is where it is right here, Israel. This is how we get our wisdom and understanding. In this last verse it says, and he said to man, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom. Revere Yahweh, Israel. Fear him. Not the world, not the people on this earth. No. Fear Yahweh. That is your wisdom. Why? Because if you fear Yahweh, you revere him, you are doing everything that he commands you to do. So, of course, if you're doing everything that he tells you to do, you have the wisdom to know how to make it to salvation, how to make it to be in his almighty kingdom. And it says, and to shun evil is understanding. You will not want to be near evil, because you know that is not of Yahweh. So now you understand what Yahweh wants. See, that's what we have to seek out, Israel, that wisdom and understanding. And if we seek that out, we will be all right. We will be on our way into that almighty kingdom.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That's exactly where we want to be in Almighty Yahweh's kingdom. That's where we want our focus to be. We're not worried about getting into a bigger house. We shouldn't be worried about getting into a better job. All of those different things that snatch away people's focus from their obedience unto Almighty Yahweh. Our primary goal and objective should transcend the cares of this lifetime. Everything that we're focused on now should be beyond what we can acquire in this world. And our focus should be on the things of Almighty Yahweh's kingdom. There's no need in sacrificing the eternal for sake of acquiring the temporal. There's no need in sacrificing that which is forever for sake of that which can be burned and destroyed in a mere moment. And the things of this world, as you grow closer and closer to Almighty Yahweh, and you ascend to higher heights as well as deeper depths in Yahweh's word, you come to understand that the things of this world, they're just momentary things that you may need for convenience sake. But they take a back seat to the things of Almighty Yahweh's word and the things that are required of us, because the things that Almighty Yahweh's word requires of us, they go far beyond anything that we can ever acquire or need in this lifetime. And it ultimately results in the salvation of our souls, because everything in which we go through in this lifetime right now, as far as injustices, griefs, gripes, beefs that we may have with people, all of those things Yahweh's going to right. All of those things, all of the wrongs that we suffer, Yahweh's going to correct them all. And if we continually strive to obey Almighty Yahweh's word, Yahweh is going to put us in positions of authority, judgment, power over those same people that troubled and afflicted you and I on the job. Scripture tells us, Scripture at the mouth of the Apostle Shaul asked us, know ye not that the saints shall judge the world? Something to think about.
Yes, it is.
You sit back now, people bickering and beefing over the confirmation of Kavanaugh as a Supreme Court justice or what have you, but you really think about it, people revere those bastards on that Supreme Court, all nine of them. People revere them. Whatever filthy idiosyncrasies in which they have, all the different levels of wickedness that they hide underneath and behind those black robes, people revere them. But yet, they in no way, shape, or form striving to keep Almighty Yahweh's word. They sanction some of the worst and the most heinous acts that you can imagine. They sanction the marriages for the homosexuality and everything. The people look to them as if they're the purveyors of righteous laws and judgments in this earth, when in all actuality, the purveyors of righteous laws and judgments in this earth, they haven't even assumed the positions of authority that Yahweh has for them just yet. That's something to think about. We go here into the book of Corinthians, where Shaul asked the question. He asked the question, and yet at the same time, he's laying out the hierarchy for Almighty Yahweh's kingdom to come. 1 Corinthians 6:1. Dare any of you having a matter against another go to law before the unjust and not before the saints? So you got beef and conflicts with your brother or sister in the name, who are you to right taking your brother or sister to small claims court or civil court before the wicked? And you're going to stand, you and your brother or your sister have a dispute, but yet you're going to go stand before a possible homosexual, or possible drunk, or possible rapist, or possible drug addict, and you're expecting the righteous judgment to be brought down through them. No, we should be able to iron out those issues and those differences right here, in-house, in the temple, or in the Bayat of Yahweh, with Yahweh's Torah. not with Black's Law Dictionary or any of those other books that they may use in the world of legality, but with Almighty Yahweh's word. It says, know ye not that the saints should judge the world, and that the world should be judged by you? Are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? So this is where that constant repetition comes in that I mentioned earlier. Those judges, they sit back, those lawyers sit back, and they read their books of the law. As wicked as their law books may be, they sit back and they constantly read those things to the point where go to an attorney's office, they can just sit in a swivel chair. You can ask one question. He'll take the swivel chair and roll on over to a particular shelf and grab a book off of the shelf and turn to it and show you what he's getting ready to do concerning your case. And the world sits back, they don't ask no questions, they don't, well, no, I don't think though you should say that when you represent me. I think you should do such and such a thing. But when it comes to Yahweh's priests, when it comes to Yahweh's people, then suddenly that's where the mouth comes in. But yet many times, we don't even know the smallest matters of Almighty Yahweh's word. And the world is going to be judged by us for it. And the apostle says, and the world should be judged by you. Are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? That's why we constantly harp on the keeping of Almighty Yahweh's laws, and the keeping of Yahweh's feasts, and the keeping of those Shabbats. That's your repetition. That's your time to continually practice and familiarize yourself with Almighty Yahweh's word, because there's going to be some days whereby Israel is going to sit and we're going to be appointed to judge the world in small matters as well as large matters. And one thing you do not want to do before the world is to not know your subject matter. So right. Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more then the things that pertain to this life? We read last Shabbat from the suppressed writings of Adam and Eve about how Hashatan and his angels were adamant about their former abode and how they were cast down to this earth, and how their ultimate goal and objective was to fight continually against Father Adam, Mother Hawa, and their seed, to see to it that nobody ever took their place. And that's their biggest beef with humanity today. That's their biggest fight with Almighty Yahweh's people. They know what's in the record of Hashemayim. They know that there's some in this earth that are going to replace them. And they also know that prior to their replacement, they themselves as fallen angels have to be judged. And that's what Almighty Yahweh's feast days point toward, the establishment of true and righteous government in this earth. That's why we gather in observation of Yahweh's feast days. So this Feast of Tabernacles is just going to serve as another step in the direction of the ultimate Feast of Tabernacles, where the whole world is punished and judged for their deeds of wickedness, and Israel is established upon thrones of righteousness. When we go to Matthew 19, I'm not going to turn to it, but just for your reference sake later on this evening, we go to Matthew 19 and we see Yahshua HaMashiach telling the apostles that when during the regeneration, when his throne is established in this earth in righteousness, he's going to even set them up upon 12 thrones, judge the 12 tribes of Israel. So you read that in conjunction with 1 Corinthians 6, and you begin to see the opening phases of Yahweh's hierarchy of righteousness in this kingdom age.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I want to go off of, so this is going to be a day where it's going to be peace. He tells you, he just read that the old man will be out, the children will be in the streets. It's going to be everything done right in righteousness. Yahshua HaMashiach, he's going to come and bring righteousness. In Yeshaya chapter 11, when he comes, it shows you how it will begin to be shalom in his kingdom. It says, chapter 11 of Yeshaya, a shoot will come up from the stump of Yeshua, and from his roots a branch will bear fruit. It says, the Ruach of Yahweh will rest on him, the Ruach of wisdom and of understanding, the Ruach of counsel and of power, the Ruach of knowledge and of fear of Yahweh, and he will delight in the fear of Yahweh. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decides what he hears with his ears, but with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions for the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. With the breath of his lips, he will slay the wicked. So everything starts to come about now. Yahshua HaMashiach comes, and he's not going to be playing. When he comes, he's going to come to destroy the wicked. He's not going to have time to be just talking back and forth. No. You know, when the time he was here on this earth, what they did to him, and guess what? He was silent. He didn't have much words because he knew there's going to be a day coming where he's going to come back to the face of this earth and pay back those that took his life. Those that didn't want to follow him, those that talked bad, those that mocked him, just like they do you and I. There's going to be a day where they had to pay for that. So that's why he said he's going to strike this earth with the rod of his mouth, and the breath of his lips will slay the wicked. All the weaponry they have in this lifetime, biological warfare, anything they have on this earth is not going to get over on Yahweh Yahshua. They in their minds, like I said, they don't have wisdom. They have foolishness in their minds. They think they're going to be able to go against Almighty Yahweh and be victorious, but not so. Yahweh is going to put them to shame in that day. It says righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness the sash around his waist. No wickedness, like when he was here at the beginning, they didn't find no fault in that man. He was perfection walking the face of this earth. They tried every day, tried to get him to slip up on something, but they couldn't find nothing. But so they lied on him. Lied on the man and said, okay, nah, he's demon possessed. You know, he's doing these things out from demons. But that's what they do to you and I. Like I said, if we follow in his footsteps, we're going to have to go through similar things that he went through.
In order to reign with him, you have to suffer with him.
Exactly. But this is where the joy comes, the peace comes, the shalom. Verse 6, it says, the wolf will live with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat. The calf and the lion and the yearling together. And the little child will lead them. Like Zarkane was saying the other day, he's going to take away the ferocious nature of the beast. Well, you can even dwell, you can sit by a lion, sit by a so-called poisonous snake, and it will not bother you. That's even in this Feast of Tabernacles, like he wants us to dwell in booths, tents. He puts you out in them elements, but he takes care of you. It's the same thing. He holds back the ferocious nature of all the animals so you'll be able to dwell out there in shalom, right, and honor him. Right. You think Yahweh is going to harm you if you're doing his will? No. If you're doing his will, he's going to look out for you, Israel. This is the cow will feed with the bear. You ain't going to see that in nowadays. Says their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. The infant will play near the hole of the cobra, and the young child put his hands into the viper's nest. Look at that. That right there is amazing. That's power of Almighty Yahweh to make everything in that kingdom be at peace. Everything. So nothing harmful is going to come your way. It says they will neither harm nor destroy on all my Kodesh mountain, for the earth will be full of knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. That don't give you joy, Israel. I don't know what will. That is worth striving for.
Yes, it is.
Israel, Yahweh has something so special for you. All I can say is keep striving to the very end, because you don't want to miss out on this. This ain't something he's going to give you and then take back. This ain't something Yahweh promises you and then later on say, no, I didn't mean that. I meant to give this to the other nations. No, Yahweh means what he says.
So do
And,
Yahweh.
and if he says he's going to take care of Israel, those that strive to the very end, that's what's going to happen. So we got to believe that Israel. We have to believe in Almighty Yahweh. A lot of times we don't believe the things that are to come. We doubt Yahweh. We don't believe in Yahweh. We say we with Yahweh, but on the other hand, we doubt the way we live our lives, the way we talk, the way we carry ourselves. We doubt him. We say, okay, Yahweh can't do these things. But Yahweh has all power. Yahweh has made everything. He has made you. He has given you the breath of life. Right now, we are breathing his air.
Yes.
Right now, we are able to come out and worship him. Yahweh, the elements out here, all the rain, he has brought us up here safely.
Yes.
He has brought us amongst one another for a reason. Everything is done for a reason, Israel. So like I said, take this as great delight and just ponder on the word of Yahweh and let it just bring joy to your soul, Israel.
Right. And just as you said, we have the tendency sometimes where we doubt Yahweh. And it's interesting how you laid that thing out, how we'll talk about believing in Yahweh, we'll talk about trusting in Yahweh, but then we'll doubt Yahweh. And one element that brings about a doubt in a person, or if you ever want to know how sincere a person is, add pressure to it. It's interesting how those trials, those tribulations can just suddenly change a person's whole rhetoric to where it goes from just practicality to just rhetoric and theory and what they say out of their mouth. And that pressure, like you say, that produces doubt in people. And those elements shouldn't even be amongst Israel, because unlike the other nations in the world, we had a personal relationship with Almighty Yahweh. We saw Almighty Yahweh fight on our behalf personally. It's history, it's hereditary, it's in our DNA. Our forefathers literally saw Almighty Yahweh smite a whole nation on their behalf, strike all the firstborn in that nation, hit the nation with plagues of flies, frogs, locusts, turning water in the rivers into blood, and then in turn, drying up a river so that they can go out on dry shore, so they go away and walk on dry land. We saw those mighty things done, even in our own lifetime. We've seen things that Almighty Yahweh has done on our behalf, in this city as well as in other cities. So we've come to a point in our existence where us as a people, being on the cusp of Yahshua's kingdom emerging, or as you will, on the latter days of the Gentiles' age of rule, we really don't have any room for doubt. We really don't have any excuses. We really don't have any reason to be doubted. And just as you laid out earlier, the scripture is just full of examples whereby Almighty Yahweh, even in times when Israel thought they had a reasonable justification of doubt, they were without it. And as you read earlier about how Yahweh would take away the ferocious nature of those beasts, I'm reminded of a point that we discussed last evening in the book of Hosea, or Hosea chapter 2, verse 18, where Yahweh says here, "And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the heavens, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I'll break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and I'll make them to lie down safely." So even that fear and that apprehensiveness of going into the wilderness to abide, that fear of being pulled from one's comfort zone, Almighty Yahweh covered the entire spectrum of life. And all creeping things, all animals that people fear, Yahweh covered them all, from the heavens, the earth, as well as the fear. Yahweh said that he will make a covenant with them on the behalf of Israel. Man, that's serious. You have a go-between, you have a mediator, you have an intercessor who puts off the ferocious nature of all the acts. Stop that. Don't touch them. Leave them alone. Don't bother them. You go over there while they go over here. You let them abide in peace. Yahweh said that he would even break the sword and the bow from out of the earth and will make them to lie down safely. It goes further and says, "And I will betroth you unto me forever. Yeah, I will betroth you unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy." It says, "I will even betroth you unto me in faithfulness, and you shall know Yahweh." not the Lord, our God. You're not going to attribute these mighty, wonderful attributes to Allah or Krishna or Buddha or your own might or people that you may have known. You're not going to throw up any gang signs or any Masonic symbols or anything of that nature and get these mighty works done on your behalf. But it's going to be all done by the power of Almighty Yahweh. So the room for doubt should be non-existent. There's no room for doubt, skepticism, or disbelief. Now, we've seen too much with our own eyes, as well as read too much in the Word, as far as Yahweh's moving on the behalf of Israel.
I also want to go, it says it's going to be a highway laid out for the righteous. This is in Yeshaya. And this made me think about the Wizard of Oz. You got the yellow brick road, and the people following to go to the kingdom. Or the Wizard of Ooze, as it should be said. So Yeshaya 35, verse 8 says, and the highway will be there, and it will be called the way of holiness. The unclean will not journey on it. It will be for those who walk in that way. That way, this way of life, those that follow Almighty Yahweh, that's who's going to walk on that road. So the wicked fools will not go about on it. No lion will be there, nor will any ferocious beast get on it. They will not be found there, but only the redeemed will walk there, and the ransom of Yahweh will return. See, that is a special road that you will be walking on, and no other people can walk on it except those that follow Almighty Yahweh. Don't that kind of sound like that the mess they made up with the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
You think they don't get a lot of that stuff in Hollywood, different TV shows out of his Torah? They claim they made it up in their minds. No, they got it straight out the book. Nobody wants to give Yahweh credit. That's why Israel, we had to give them credit, because we know Yahweh made all things. We know where if we look at different movies and different things, it's not just entertainment. You see different things that they took out of the Torah. So Yahweh has given you that wisdom and understanding to recognize those things. But it says they will enter Zion with singing. Everlasting joy will crown their heads. You don't think it's going to be singing in that day?
Yes.
Man, it's going to be some crying out loud in that day, just to know that you finally made it, Israel. That's why I said with the numbers, Yahweh don't just make up numbers for any reason. This is the 7th month, the completion of a thing. See, everything is complete. You finally, everything that you've done in this lifetime finally paid off, and you finally dwelling in his kingdom. If you can't sing it in that time period, something wrong with you. If you can't take great delight in him right now, knowing that's what you're striving for, something's wrong. You have to check yourself and examine yourself very carefully. Ask, why can't I take great delight in this? And it says, gladness and joy will overtake them. There's no any depression, being down, that will not be in you. That joy will overtake you, and sorrow and sighing will flee away. Do y'all believe that, Israel?
Yeah.
That is worth striving for, Israel.
Far beyond what people strive for in this lifetime now, where people may strive for X amount of thousands of dollars put away in their 401k. People strive to have ever so much put away in pensions. People strive to upgrade their cars every so often. People strive to move from one neighborhood to a better neighborhood. Or people strive to improve the quality of living for their children and what have you, which in a degree in this lifetime may seem good on the surface, but if you're instilling no values in the children or the individuals that are striving, your work is just in sheer vain. It's coming to naught. But the things you really strive for, the salvation of one's soul, as well as the obtaining of salvation and a space in Yahweh's kingdom. For the people who are fixated on the cares of this life and the things of this world, that you like the riches, the cars, the homes, and all of those things, if you like those things, strive for Almighty Yahweh's salvation. Because Yahshua said that in his Father's house are many mansions. If it were not, I would have told you so. So you like to dwell in fine homes, things of that nature? Get this home right.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Because as Caleb and as Joshua said, as for me and my house, we shall serve Yahweh all the days of our life. So you want to find home? Straighten this one out first. The one that Almighty Yahweh wants to dwell in with his Ruach HaKodesh. And then watch and see if Almighty Yahweh in the world to come doesn't give you a much greater home to abide in than anything you ever could have cast your eyes upon in this lifetime. Yahshua the Messiah told us to not seek after the riches of the Gentiles, but rather to seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And he even set back and left on record examples in the Old Testament. Upon revealing his last vision to the prophet Daniel, Daniel kept questioning Almighty Yahweh concerning the fate of Israel in the latter days. Daniel kept pressing and kept asking questions. When shall this be? When is that going to happen? When is this going to be? He told Daniel, stop his writing, to seal up the book, to go your way. For in the latter days, you shall stand in your light. So even Daniel was told there would come a time whereby he would even have an inheritance. Told him to go your way, you stand in your light. Scriptures chock full of examples that should serve to deter Israel from chasing after the Gentiles' riches and focus on the things of Almighty Yahweh. And it also explains to you on numerous occasions how when you pursue the things that pertain to Yahweh, the riches and the wealth of the Gentiles will be added to you anyway. You're pretty much all of the rich men and the wealthy men of this world now that have all of the wealth, the Bill Gates, Steve Bezos, and all of these other rich men in the world. If you look at it for what it's worth, and knowing that the scripture says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, they pretty much your stockbrokers. Right now, they handling and managing your assets for you right now. Those are pretty much your accountants right now. They just keeping an eye on your stuff. All you have to do is just simply strive to obey Almighty Yahweh in order to be able to obtain the things that belong unto you. But at this time, they have the people duped into thinking, oh man, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, I gotta get this in order to be anything in life. But that's sheer foolishness. You want to acquire true wealth, you want to acquire true status in the world, obey Almighty Yahweh's commandments. And watch as the world seeks to fight to abase you. And watch as Almighty Yahweh exalts you unto that level of righteousness that he promised his people Israel. See, Yahweh's word is full of examples of the joy, the righteousness, the mercy that Yahweh's going to show unto us. And even as the brother mentioned earlier, concerning the Wizard of Oz, how Hollywood goes in the scripture and steals different things from you. Even reading in Revelation chapter 21 right here, we see the description laid out of how beautiful Yahweh's city is going to be. The Wizard of Oz, they showed you that yellow brick road. They showed you, but what they didn't lead the people into knowing was them yellow bricks with some of the bars of gold. And the scripture even talks about the streets of Jerusalem, how the streets of Jerusalem will even be paved with gold, as well as numerous other precious elements and metals and jewels and the carbuncles and the jasper and the onyx and all those different stones. Let's go here into the book of Revelation 21:9. And there came unto me one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and the full of the seven last plagues. And he talked with me, saying, come up hither. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain, and he showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of the Hashemayim from Yahweh, having the glory of Yahweh and her light. And it was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. And it had a wall great and high, and it had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And on the east, 3 gates. And on the north, 3 gates. On the south, 3 gates. And on the west, 3 gates. And the walls of the city had 12 foundations. And in them, the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. See, Brother Reginald kept harping earlier, last evening as well as today, on the number 7. How Yahweh deals in specifics. Yahweh does nothing by fruit or happenstance. 7 representing completion. The 12 being symbolic of governance and rulership. And each tribe having a gate or an entrance point into the city of Almighty Yahweh. And then also, the city having 12 foundations, a foundation for each tribe of Israel. Now, any structure that you build is of no significance or no soundness without a sound foundation. You can have a house, the house will look nice, but if the foundation is weak, eventually the house is going to corrode. The house is going to corrode and deteriorate. But the stronger and the more sure the foundation is, the stronger your house and the structure will be. In order to bring about the peace and the security of Almighty Yahweh's kingdom, he establishes it on 12 foundations. And each one of those foundations is symbolic of a tribe of Israel. And that's what the Feast of Tabernacles points to, Israel's entrance into this kingdom. And due to time constraints, I'm going to conclude on that note. I'm going to simply ask that the house of Israel please stand to your feet as we close out.
Yahweh, we told you for another Feast of Tabernacles. We told you for bringing us out to hear your wonderful works. We told you for the shalom that dwells upon Israel at this very time period. Yahweh, continue to show us your ways, continue to look towards us and protect us from hurt, harm, and danger. Yahweh, be with us throughout this feast and let your joy continue to spread. Continue to be with the children, the women, and the men. Yahweh, have your feast to be so joyful, so delightful that we want to do this each and every year of our lives. Yahweh, continue to teach us what your feast means. Teach us what those things lead to, and show Israel that they have all the things in the world to strive for, to make it in that kingdom. In Yahshua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.